you all hear me? I'm not going to give the invocation. Father, we want to take this opportunity to thank you. Thank you for this time that we're gathering. We thank you for life. We thank you for just coming together. We thank you for the whole county school system. And God, we ask that you bless everybody that's representing here today, God. Look on all the people that are suffering from COVID-19, God. Certainly look on India. God, give them a remedy in the name of Jesus. We bless you. We thank you. We thank you for our superintendent. We thank you for her cabinet. We thank you for the teachers and the principals. And we thank you for everybody that's represented. And we thank you for everything that you have done. We thank you for life. We thank you for this day that you have made. And we have chosen to rejoice in it. And we have chosen to be glad in it. We thank you for the school board members. We thank you for us being together and coming together and having consensus. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. Amen. Now I am going to give the chairman's report. So on April the 23rd, I think it was Dr. Shannon Register that had gotten some people together to come to Sand Hills Community College. Those people were Dr. Deb, Dr. Shannon, our CTE director, our new associate superintendent, Don Ramshore, the director of maintenance. Am I missing anybody? And me. And so they came to Sand Hills Community College to look at Ed Spittler. Ed Spittler is the chairman or the I think he's the chair or of the engineering program.
Yes.
And he has a plethora of titles and to look at that program because of course we're trying to be succinct with Sand Hills, understanding that we're getting ready to embark on a new engineering program ourselves. So Ed he did a wonderful job in giving us a tour and showing us the ropes and showing us what they do. And hopefully we can get ours up and running. And and it was really good. It was good to see my team, my people from Polk County come. And it was good to spend some time with it. I hardly ever go to that area, so it was good to spend some time with Ed Spittler. So on April the 27th, West Hope Elementary had a induction for the Beta Club, and I was not in attendance, but my colleague Ms. Pickett was, and Deb was. Do you guys want to tell us a little bit about it? Ms. Pickett?
It went well as usual. We just congratulate the students there, and their parents that were there.
Okay.
It really went well, and we were proud to congratulate them and just be a part of the ceremony.
Good. On May the 6th, I had an opportunity to come here, Polk County High School, and I came here to, I think, talk to Brandon Locklear about some things for scholarships, and then ran into Dr. Baldwin, and he was feeding his people. And it was a Teachers Appreciation Week, but he was feeding everybody, the students that were here, the staff members, me. So everybody was being fed, and he said that was not just this year, he always did that, and it was a week endeavor. So he did his thing, and so we appreciate him appreciating his teachers. On May the 5th, as a community piece, Mary Kay Thomas was a person, and Ms. Pickett and Barbara can chime in, but she was very valuable to this community. She graduated, she was the first person in Polk County to graduate from Sand Hills Community College with a GED, as well later on with an associate's degree of arts. And then she was able to go to UNC Pembroke and get her teaching degree. And she became a teacher for, I think, 28 years at West Hope Elementary and some other schools. But she was a pastor here. She was on the Civic League, the Federated Women. So she was doing a lot of different things. Well, Sandhills had a dedication for her. And you know the helping hands, pulling up a person. There's a statue. And I think Barbara was there. Keisha, you were there. Were you not there? No, I wasn't. Okay. Barbara and Miss Pickett. Miss Pickett had words, and certainly our superintendent was there. And Miss Pickett had words for Miss Thomas. And it was just a really nice ceremony. So that was some of the things that I did and we did. And just wanted to sort of give you some updates about it. Now, next on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Can I get a motion?
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we approve the agenda that we have before us tonight.
I second.
It has been moved to approve the agenda and second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The agenda has been approved. And next we have Spotlight on Success. I am going to yield to the superintendent.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members. This evening, we do have 5 items for Spotlight on Success. Our first item is the recognition of Teacher Appreciation Week and our of the year winners at each school. At this time, I will turn it over to Ms. Meredith Bounds, our Director of Public Relations, to share our highlights.
Good evening, Madam Chair and board members, Dr. Dallas. It is exciting to be with y'all tonight, my first board meeting here, and it's exciting to be in Hope County. And I would like to take just a minute to thank everyone for their warm welcome and genuine open arms. A lot of times people use the term "we are a family" and it's just lip service. From before I even came, it was evident that that's something y'all live and do and breathe and do it well. So thank you for adopting me into the family. I'll try not to embarrass us. But I do want to say thank you. Been a good first 2.5 weeks. But I do want to mention tonight that we come on the heels of Teacher Appreciation Week. And if any year our teachers and our educators need to be appreciated, good grief, is this year. And so I had the honor of going with our teacher support staff my first 2 days, and we got to visit all the schools and celebrate each of the schools of the year staff. So their teacher of the year, their beginning teacher of the year, and their teacher assistant of the year. And so at the district level, we celebrated our of the years all week long. And of course, as Ms. McAllister-McCrae said, each of the schools also celebrated with lots of food. I have learned y'all like to eat it. Hello, that should be a selling point right there. Because I like to eat. But we celebrated them at the district as well, and just wanted to put this together as a little compilation and celebrate them here tonight. So here is our of the year educators for the district. You really don't want me to do it. But again, just want to highlight and recognize our educators this year, every year, all day, every day. But these are our of the year educators for 2021. So next on the agenda, we have our drone winners. I came over that first week and was excited to meet Dr. Dana Chavis. She's our Executive Director of CTE for the district, and meet Mr. Mario Malabunga. He is our instructor for the Drone 1 and 2 program. I'm asking to join up here at the podium. And share a little bit about our students, Danny Pham and Riley Edwards, and the recognition that they have received.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Chair Board members, Superintendent Dr. Dallas. Our drone program began last year, second semester. So we had a half a year to kind of get things going, and then COVID hit. But even with that, we were able to, with Mr. Malabunga and his instructions, that we had students actually go to the aviation testing site and earn their credentials as a pilot. This year was our first full year. And of course, you know, we have COVID. But even then, through the online, through the hands-on, we still had students to actually go and earn their credential and become pilots. This particular program, since we have been in existence, has had about 66 students. And I remember, Ms. Bowie, you asked me last time, tell me about the females. So out of the 66, 7 are females. So we are reaching that population, slowly. But, so I do have a breakdown of the populations, you know, how many actually had maybe a disability, how many are AG. So, you know, we carry a variety of students in this particular program that have been very successful. But the 2 that we are recognizing tonight, they actually went to regionals. They won regionals, then they went to state, and they've actually won state. So I'm gonna let Mr. Malabunga, their instructor, talk a little bit about their state competition.
So Riley and Danny, they made number 1 and number 2 in the state. So we did all the other stuff. They had to do a lot of interviews, video submissions, exams, and I'm very happy that we got number 1 and number 2. And only the number 1 school will go to this nationals competition, and we are, Polk County is representing North Carolina. All the other counties are first year again. These are first in the program, and I need to share with everybody, the board and everybody here, that we are the number 1 producer of FAA pilots.
Wow.
Remote pilots, to be specific. And all the other counties, they look up to us, they visit us, they see what we have here, and of course, this would not be possible without your support, the board, the administrators, our director in city, and of course, the parents and everybody. So thank you, and I hope you continue supporting us, and I'm proud of this, our students.
Yes, we
I'm gonna ask
Yeah.
if they'll come forward, like, move up towards you, and that way we can get some nice photos.
Sure.
Present
Where do you want to get the photos at?
Let's don't have it with that screen in the background. If we can circle right here, that would be good.
Okay, so this is presented to Danny Pham, first place 2021 Skills USA North Carolina Drone Competition, presented by the Polk County Board of Education, May 11th, 2021. That's you.
intend to join the Air Force, ma'am.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
Yes.
One, two, three, cheese. Thank you.
I'm getting ready to present this and I'm gonna take off I've had my 2 shots. You know, it's just a privilege to be able to do this. And
Yes, it is.
for those that do not know, this has been Nancy's grandson.
Yes.
This is Miss Nancy's grandson. Congratulations, y'all, let me say this right, you know, say this right here before. Well, you know, one day before it's over, I will be flying maybe one of the planes that these people are calling. Now, he said he's going to the Air Force, I will not be on that plane. But he may be for American or some of the other airlines we have here. But congratulations. Okay, it said making the grade, Polk County Schools presented to Riley Edwards, 2nd place, 2021 Skills USA, North Carolina Drone Competition, presented by the Polk County Board of Education, May 11, 2021. Congratulations.
Y'all, we beat Polk County, y'all.
Dr. Dallas, would you like to come to
Very good, Rosa.
Pam,
We'll do one and then we'll have the
Okay.
parents come in.
Okay.
We beat Polk County.
One, two, three, cheese. And since we have just a minute while the parents come up, because Mr. Malabongo wants to do that for himself, I did want to mention that he also serves on the commission or the committee at DPI and to help set the curriculum for all the drone programs in North Carolina. So again, Polk County #1 with our students, #1 program, but we have one of our own that is setting the curriculum for the rest of the state.
Oh, yeah. And you know what? He looks like a student.
He
I thought he was a student. Oh, he looks so young. Yes, come up here.
Let's get you over. Or, Danny, you want the slides? You let us have right beside you. There we go. Ready? One, two, I know you're cheesing on
Do either one of you want to say anything? Do you want to address anybody say anything you'd like?
I'd like to thank the Board of Education for this opportunity. We wouldn't be able to do all of what we've been able to do without your support and beginning of the program. I'd like to say thank you very much for the chance.
Thank you for the Board of Education, especially for Mr. Malabonga, since I know since 6th grade for a robotics teacher. He's a very good teacher. He knows how to first teach you the basics and then actually show you how to control and repair whatever you need. So thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you. So at this time, we'll move on to our third item for Spotlight on Success, and that is the special recognition of Ed Clemente. At this point, I will turn it over to Gary Brigman, our Polk County Schools Athletic Director, to name the spotlight.
Madam Chair, I'm fully vaccinated too. Me and my daughter had a shots. Dr. Dallas, not several years ago, we were struggling just a little bit with social media and how to market our athletic program. And all of a sudden, Ed Clemente came into my life. And he was just taking over for Hal Nunn with the newspaper. And Ed started taking excellent photos of our athletics, and you've probably seen them in the newspaper. And Kim was real smart, and that's Kim McDonald in our newspaper. All of a sudden, the sports section used to be real small. Now it took up the whole page. And I credit Ed for that. Ed took the news journal to another level. And he also took our athletic program to another level. With the way he marketed the athletics and our athletes. Several times we have really outstanding athletes that received awards. He was always good as far as getting them recognized on Twitter. And believe it or not, we had a lot of followers on Twitter, the Sports Blast. He took our athletic web page. We started marketing and selling ads to go on the web page. And it just absolutely took off. And the reason it took off was because of Ed. And Ed was a big part. If you remember a few years ago, we had a really, really good football team. And we made several rounds in the playoffs. And also we had a really good soccer program. And we made a couple rounds in the playoffs. And always did a promo that week of who we were playing, what time we were playing, where and when, and all the above. And he would push it out. When I say push it out, it went out all over the media sources. And people filled the stadium, I felt like, because the way we promoted. And that's what part of running a successful athletic program is, how you promote it and how people perceive it.
Mhm.
And Ed was part of that. Well, Ed's leaving.
Oh.
And so my prediction kicked in and says, we need to recognize Ed. And it was like a week before Board of Education meeting. And I talked to Mr. Evers and Dr. Dallas. I said, look, let's try to get Ed in here and recognize Ed, because he's done so much for the community, so much for our children in the athletic program. And Spotlight on Success should go to Ed, should recognize him. And so we have a Spotlight trophy. And now listen, I'm the only one, and I think his wife has obviously seen his office. He's got a nice office that's oversetting the Pacific Ocean. And that's where he's gonna be working from. So he's gonna become a president of a company out there on the West Coast. And he's the only man I know right now that has a home on the East Coast and a home on the West Coast. So anyway, Ed, we're gonna miss you. Athletic department's gonna miss you. The school system's gonna miss you. Everything you've done for the senior class last year when we were struggling, to try to make peace with our seniors and their families. He was part of that and doing that, and all our senior recognitions that we do is part of that. Getting nice pictures for our kids, posters and everything. First class, everything he does is first class. And that's why I want people like that around me, because it makes Gary look good. And he's real smart with a computer, and he does a lot of that, and we're definitely gonna miss him. And Ms. Bowie, you wanna come forward and present this award? Spotlight on Success. Yeah, put me up there.
Good job.
Yeah, do 2 shots. Yeah.
Good job.
I hope I'm not taking anything away from you, Mr. Commissioner. While I have this opportunity, I want to thank you, Mr. Whitman.
Yes, ma'am.
I think you do a wonderful job. Just keeping us abreast of what's going on.
All my credit is due to Roger Edwards.
I want to know how many Twitter followers Gary.
Zero.
I appreciate everybody, and Donna, I thank you. I appreciate you. We do appreciate you, and I'd like to do just a positive reading. Making the Grade Hope County Schools presented to Ed Clemente, an appreciation of your service to Hope County Schools, presented by the Hope County Board of Education, May 11th, 2021. Thank you for all you've done, and have a wonderful week.
Yes. We moved out here from Denver in 2016 and didn't know anybody. I had my photography business back in Colorado that my day job kind of overwhelmed it. And so we came out here just to, get out of the fast pace of life and just enjoy ourselves. And I don't know, we were out here maybe 6 months and I was back into photography. I told my wife, I go, if I'm gonna do it, I need to go full bore into it. And I think I went above and beyond what I should have. I'm up to
I
like,
don't see him, not even in bed.
if I'm not at home, I'm with the Observer or with the school or, something. And I think the past 2 weeks, it's been slow, I think,
He's taking the heart, guys.
Yeah.
He's gonna miss everybody and the kids so much. And I'm so proud of him.
Yes. Thank you for
Thank you.
everything you've done.
Good job, David. Good job.
Good picture, Barbara.
Get the picture, Barbara. Mr. Clemente, weren't you the person that gave me, told me my grandson's picture that you put in the
We just surprised our daughter's boyfriend who's a senior. He made him a sign that surprised him, and we just planted it in the yard, so he don't even know it's there yet.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Much success.
We know if we're hired someday, we will come back.
Thank you. Safe travel.
Yes, take care. Look, I have to give this man.
Okay.
I'm gonna get my campaign signs. Excellent.
He gets parents calling every day. Can you please, he's trying to work so many people and he's working on like 3 hours of sleep a night, just so you know.
Thanks, guys. Thank you very much.
Appreciate you.
Our fourth item for Spotlight on Success is the recognition of our amazing finance department for the ASBO International Certificate of Excellence in Financial Reporting Award. That is a mouthful, but that means they do a good job with the money to make sure everything is done correctly. So at this time, I'd like to recognize Ms. Juanette Chavis, our Chief Finance Officer, and her team, if they would like to come up as well for the recognition of this award. Yes.
Good evening, Madam Chair, board members,
Good evening, Juanette.
Superintendent. First of all, every year, or for the past 4 years, after we've completed our financials in the fall, we've submitted them to the Association of School Business Officials International. So it's the international division we submit our financials to. They reviewed them, and the school district earned a certificate of excellence for its comprehensive, yo, I can't talk. I'm a numbers person. Comprehensive annual financial report for the fiscal year 2020. This is the 4th year we've received this award. The comprehensive annual financial report informs stakeholders about the financial and economic state of the district, making an important communication tool for building trust and engaging with the community schools. By participating in this program, school districts demonstrate their commitment to financial transparency. This report is reviewed by a team of professionals, and they're the one that actually reviews it and makes any recommendations for the next fiscal year. We didn't have any recommendations for the next fiscal year, so we had no comments on our report, which is good. I talked with our auditor today, and he said it's good not to have any comments, because normally we have some for the next fiscal year. Not that it's a bad thing, but it's for good to not have any comments. So, it's a little bit of work, extra work, but, like I said, this is the 4th year we've received this award from ASBO International. And I'd like to introduce my team. I have Belinda Richardson, the Assistant Finance Officer, Jill Roundtree, our Payroll Specialist, Cassie Chavis, Payroll Specialist, and Amanda Williams, Accounts Payable. We can't do it without them. I can't do it without all the other members of the district either, because they help make us do our financials every year. So it takes everybody to do this, not just finance, all departments.
Excellent
Bring
work.
the team over more on this side, so you can get a good shot, good picture.
Are you beautiful ladies, of course? Look at it.
You know, I don't like this part.
I know you don't like this one.
They made me do it.
They make you do it, but you have done such a great job, an excellent job. You have a beautiful team of ladies here, they're very professional and smart, and we appreciate each and every one of you. I like your message, it said blessed, I know the Hope County School family is blessed, and we're all blessed, and we thank God for you all, for everything you do for the Hope County School family. Making the grade, the Hope County School family presented to the Finance Department in recognition of receiving the ASBO International Certificate of Excellence in Financial Reporting presented by the Hope County Board of Education, May 11th, 2021. We thank God for y'all. God bless you all.
She's in the middle, yeah. Thank you.
All right.
Bean counters, bean counters.
Excellent work.
And our last item for Spotlight on Success is the bulletin board artwork that's at the Board of Education in the lobby. That is completed this month by West Hope Middle School. And so, Madam Chair and members, that does conclude our Spotlight on Success for this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Deb, appreciate that. Next on the agenda is our consent agenda. Can I get a motion, please?
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the consent agenda, items 1 and 2.
I second.
It's been moved to approve the consent agenda, moved in second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. The consent agenda has been approved. Next on the agenda are is an action item. I will yield to the superintendent.
So thank you, Madam Chair and members. This evening, we have one action item for the board to review. Action item number 1 is our Hope County Schools payroll deduction method. At our last board meeting, we did discuss different options that we could look at. So this evening, Ms. Juana Chavis, our Chief Finance Officer, will share this information. After she shares the information related to the payroll deduction method, we will answer any questions and then ask for your approval of the methods that we have, that we will be presenting this evening.
Good evening again.
Good evening.
If you recall, about 2 meetings back, we told you that the state was doing away with the state installment program. We have done some research on this, and we know, well, we have 2 recommendations or 2 items we want to share with you how we want to proceed. First, I'm sorry, y'all, I can't see. Okay, next slide. Okay, so the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction has embarked on a new state modernization program. And with this modernization program, they can no longer support the installment program that they have done in the past. So this will be effective with the 2021-2022 school year. So we looked at what options are available to our employees. Our first option would be that an individual could select their bank of choice, set up a savings account. That would be one option. A second option would be use a state employees credit union summer cash account. And these are after tax obligations or options. And the second option, would be what we're going to call is our Hope County Schools payroll deduction method. This method will be used by the school system and then distributed what was withheld from an employee during the summer it's also an after payroll tax deduction. Who is eligible for either one of these methods we choose would be our 10-month or 11-month employees. In the past, only 10-month employees were able to participate in the installment program. With these 2 options that we're looking at, 10-month or 11-month people can participate. And one of the things to note prior to, currently we have 715 employees that are on installments. 278 of them bank at the credit union. So if they would elect the summer cash program through the credit union, 278 already participate at that financial institution. One of the things we did also was we served all the surrounding counties to see what they were doing as their options. All counties surrounding us are letting employees choose their bank of choice. They're not offering an in-house deduction method. They're saying an employee, this is your money, you take it, you deposit it wherever you want to and handle it like that. So we have seen what around us is doing. Summer cash, what's the advantages of a summer cash savings account? First of all, an employee can choose the amount that's deducted from their payroll check. They can earn interest on these accounts. The account can be opened anytime during the school year. And with the credit union, if the employee starts later in the school year, they can have more taken out and it's still divided. Once summer months, they put it into their checking account over the 2 summer months. And they can close without penalty. And at their own financial institution, if an employee elects to just do a savings account, it's just going into their savings account, earning interest, they can determine how much they want to put in that savings account, when they want to withdraw it. There's no penalty for withdrawing it. That's just like having your own savings account, dipping into whenever you want to.
And so you know the difference with installments, we're taking about 16.66% out of their check each month to put into installments. But when they get paid in June and July, we're also taking taxes out of that money. But the difference is with this, it's going to be like a deduction. No, and the taxes will come out of their regular check. So when we give it back to them, it's just straight cash to them.
Yes.
But on the other hand, won't the, won't you have to double deduct for benefits?
We will. Well, we're not going to double deduct. It would be spread out over 10 months instead of 12.
So
We-
they'll have
we-
more
we
out of
do
their
that.
checks during the year.
Right.
Yeah.
We're going to show you the way it's going to work.
Okay, so our Polk County Payroll Schools deduction method. Okay, so for all current employees, they have to make a decision by August 1st if they want to do the Polk County Schools deduction method or if they want to establish their own account at their credit union, their bank, whatever they want to do. For our employees that are currently employed, if they want it taken out that first check in August, they need to let us know a decision by August 1st. They will be allowed to make one change during the school year. So for example, I elect in August to have $500 taken out of my check. And like I said, this is an after-tax deduction. I elect to have $500 taken out in August. And when I get my check in August, I realize I can't live with that $500 gone. Then we're gonna allow them one time to change to say maybe 400 or 350, whatever they think they can live on during those summer months. They will, like I said, they can choose the amount to be deducted. I can choose 500, I can choose 400, I can choose 250, whatever I think I can live on June and July, when we give them that check back in June and July. They don't earn interest on these funds because we're just holding the money for them. So it's not like at the bank where, I mean, I know interest is small right now, but with us, they're not earning anything. Employees that start later in the school year will now have the option to participate. In the past, they weren't able to participate. So if we have an employee that starts in November and they say they want to participate in our payroll deduction method, we will now allow them to participate as opposed to saying, no, you've got to wait till the next school year. The deduction will be paid for in June and July of the following year. 11-month employees deduction will be paid in July. One thing we will not do is, so an employee comes in and says, I want to take my money out. You know, I don't want you to handle my money anymore. I want it to go straight to my bank. Once they tell us that, they will not participate in our program anymore for the school year. They'd have to wait again to the next school year before they participate. Because we can't have people in and out saying, I want to change it to this, I want to take it out, I want to do this, because, you know, if that's the case, just go to the bank and Yeah. Okay, so next. So what we did is an example of how employees are currently done on installments and how if they choose this option, what it would look, or either option, what it would look like. So currently, a beginning teacher makes $3,500. If she's on, or if he or she is on installments, we take $583.33 and put it in their installment account currently this year. So their gross each month is $2,916.67. The retirement system gets 6% of that. I can see that better than I can that. Then let's say they happen to have pre-tax deductions, which is your dental, your vision, your colonial products. This employee that we picked just happened to have $88.74 worth of pre-tax deductions. So then when we get to her taxable amount, she's got $2,652 that is taxable. Then this, we have to pay Social Security, or they have to pay Social Security, Medicare, state withholdings, federal withholdings. So this employee brings home, scroll down just a little bit, $2,075.71 currently. So with the new program, either option they choose, whether they choose our deduction, whether they choose the credit union, whether they choose their own personal bank, their gross amount's going to be $3,500. Okay, so then the retirement system's going to get their part. They automatically get their 6%. So instead of $175, which is what it was before when she was on installments, now it's going to be $210. So it went up slightly, but that's the 6% of the gross amount. Deductions, dental, vision, health insurance, all of those things now that we previously spread out over 12 months, now we're going to have to spread them out over 10 months. And we've talked with our vendors and they've said that that will be how they will proceed for starting in the 2021 school year. So we looked at this employee's deductions and her pre-tax deductions, if we change them to 10 months, so they go from 88 to 74. So now her taxable amount has went from $2,600 to $3,100. She's got to pay Social Security, Medicare, state withholdings, federal withholdings. So then we said, okay, what would she have to put aside to get close to what she was bringing home in the previous month? Where it looked, okay, so she netted to $2,075 and we wanted her to net the same thing in with her new program, whichever program she chooses. So we said, if she sets aside $412, her net pay is going to be the same as what it was when she was on installments, which is less than the $533 that we were holding aside in her installment amount. So if she puts aside $412 per month, then her June and July payment would be $2,060, which is just about $15 slightly difference in what she would have done in the previous 10 months. So this was an example showing what they do now with installments, what it would be like when we change to either method they choose.
How are they gonna know all of this? I mean, if they choose, say for instance, if they choose the whole county way, then they don't have to, I mean, you're not really, you can explain it, but you guys will be doing that.
Right.
For them. But if they choose the credit union or their bank, how are you gonna explain that to them?
Well, if they choose the credit union or their bank, then their money is already at the bank for them. There's no dividing on, we don't have a check for them in June and July. It's just sitting in their savings account, their checking account, or wherever they have it. Their money's there. Now, our plans are to explain this to employees, this method to employees, either like Friday coming up, they have a teacher work day, or the next Friday coming up, to get out into the schools and sort of explain it, because I know there's staff that don't understand or haven't heard it, because I have talked to a few people and they said, I haven't heard a thing. We have shared it with the principals that installments is going away. And we've had employees to call to say, well, what's coming out of my check now? Or what do I need to set aside? What does the credit union offer? So we have people that are calling But our plans are to share this with the principals on tomorrow. Then again, if we need to be in the buildings, we're gonna be in the buildings. So we plan on sharing this with the staff. And then anytime they call, it's like, okay, what can I do to help you walk through it?
Okay.
And that's why I said, that's why even for us, I'm not gonna penalize anybody. So if you say, okay, $600 is what was coming out of my check, I think I can do that. And then they realize they can't. That's why I said we give them a chance to rectify that and come back and say, no, don't take that much out of my check.
One chance.
One chance, yeah. If not, they'd be in there every month.
Back and forth, back and forth. I understand what you're saying.
They'd be in there every month.
Sure, you can't give them two. No.
So like we talked about, there is some unintended consequences of this changing. It's nothing, we had any say-so in, but all voluntary deductions, the health, dental, vision, colonial products will now have to be deducted every 10 months instead of 12. And instead of 12 months for you normally receive installments.
Yes, the interest.
The what now?
You hold their money, they don't get any interest, right?
Yes, ma'am.
But if the bank holds it, they might make 2 cents.
They might.
Yeah.
They might make $2. We say $2, yeah.
It's not $2.
Well.
So how do you think they feel about that? You're gonna hold their money and not give them anything extra for it?
Well, we can't earn interest on it. We don't have an interest-bearing
account.
Yeah, we don't have an interest-bearing checking account.
So I think that's where providing them the option, if they want to stay with their bank or do the summer cash, that's an option they have. If they don't want to do that and they say, I just want to work from our finance department and do that, they'll have the choice.
Yes.
So that's why we want to be able to go in and present, this is what this looks like, this is what this looks like, now as the educator or the employee, you choose what you feel works best for you. So we'll be able to give them the option, because somebody might want that $2.
Sure.
Yeah.
And Ms. Warnick, pardon me, this is not the first time this has happened. Years ago, you still had a choice for the credit union where you could have so much money taken out and get it back during the summer. So
Yeah.
they know how to work their money.
Yeah.
And because this is not the first time this has happened.
Right.
I know when I was in school, I had some taken out,
Yeah.
or you have some during the summer.
And our
And now, with the Social Security, you had to pay so much tax back during the year.
Yeah.
I had to go in and have Social Security take more tax out of me every month, you see. So I won't have to pay so much tax back at the end of the year. And I know how much they're taking out, and I know how much I get. So you're gonna figure it up yourself anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they'll be able to do it.
Our software will allow a person to deposit money up to 3 different accounts. So let's say you wanted your money to go, $600 to go into a savings account. Our software will allow that. Or if you're banking with the credit union will send us a deduction and we can send it straight to the credit union for you. So that's why we say we're giving them options, and they just want to stay with us and let us handle it for them, as an option. But it's.
One day I read about the housing thing. And we have, there's one more apartment complex like ours somewhere in North Carolina. Did you?
Two.
It's 2 or 3.
I know they got two.
Yeah.
It's 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Hartford County has one, and there's one other place.
Hereford.
Hereford has
One more
one.
somewhere.
Yeah, it's two.
And
now.
in some of your documents, you said something about the apartments, they're gonna have to double up or something?
So I was gonna ask that question.
We can either double up in April or May, or they'll have to pay their rent on their own in June and July.
So is there no way to spread that out like you're doing the other?
It's possible, but then there's nowhere for it to see it, because unless Miranda's gonna handle that. Because we send when we do that deduction, we send that money straight to the credit union for the payment. So then it would be her managing, well, this person's paid an extra $100 a month on their June and July payment. It wouldn't be us handling it then. So if Miranda's willing to take on that responsibility of handling, Joe's paid an extra month to cover June. Well, if Joe gets evicted in April, she's got to give Joe back all his money. So,
Yeah, we've not ever evicted anyone unless.
well, I'm,
We have someone need to evict because we're chasing checks, that's why I'm asking that. I'll talk to Miranda about that tomorrow.
And the thing about it is that the money that we're taking is, if we're holding the money, we're just holding the money.
But we
can't
could be
take
sent
deductions or
straight to the
anything.
credit union.
We can't take anything out of those checks because they're not a
Understand.
deduction, not a payroll check.
and the vendors that are our deduction vendors, they're actually changing their monthly rate. So it's not like they're holding the money, they're changing our monthly rate to reflect the 10 months instead of 12 months. And then the employees cover for that amount of time.
For our apartment pool?
We have a waiting, yes ma'am, we have a waiting list.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so again, these changes will go into effect for the 2021 school year. So employees will receive their regular installment pay this June and this July, and child nutrition July and August like normal. So everything starts effective July 1.
Are there any other questions? So if not, at this time, we will ask for approval of the Hope County Schools payroll deduction methods that have been presented and shared this evening.
You've heard the recommendation of the superintendent. What is the pleasure of the board?
Madam Chair, I would like to make a motion to approve the recommendation made by our superintendent to approve the Polk County Schools payroll deduction methods for the coming year.
Second.
It has been moved and second to approve the payroll deduction for the upcoming year, requested by the superintendent. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Payroll deduction method has been approved.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members. That does conclude our action item for this evening.
Next on the agenda are the information items. I yield to Dr. Deb.
We have 5 information items this evening. Information item A is an update on COVID-19 data and related information. I will ask Dr. Peggy Owens, our Executive Director of Student Support Services, to please speak to our COVID updates.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Madam Superintendent, and members of the board. Good evening. It's good to see everyone. We want to share a few updates with you. As always, we want to start with Hope County's data. And as you can see, the current data there that reflects the total number of cases, deaths, those who are partially vaccinated, and those who are fully vaccinated. Last month, someone had asked the question in terms of herd immunity, and I did speak with Ms. Edwards in regards to this, and she did say that for Hope County, we need 66% of the adults vaccinated, and herd immunity for us will be 73.7%. So you do see that we have a ways to go. However, she also cautioned us about the data for those who are fully vaccinated. That may not be a total representation, though that's the data from the state, but it may not be reflected of our military population, our veterans, and also those individuals who may have been vaccinated in surrounding counties. And that data may not have been updated at the state level.
So it might be higher.
Yes, ma'am. It could be higher, and that is our prayer that it is higher. So that's where we are currently as it relates to those individuals. The next set of data reflects our dashboard, and that is reflective of last week. Within the schools that we had a total of 11 students who tested positive and 3 employees for a total of 14 cases in our school district. And then, as you know, we're a part of the ABC Collaborative, and the data that's reported to ABC Collaborative, that's with the Duke group, is only for our middle schools. So last week we reported 2 students in our middle schools and 1 staff in our middle school. So what's new? What's new? We've heard of lots about, and we are faithful here, face coverings. So the executive order 209 referenced face coverings. So the governor, we are still required to wear face covering indoors. Face coverings are no longer required in outdoor settings, such as recess, class outdoors, physical education, and sports activities. However, the exceptions are when we're 6 feet, when 6 feet social distance cannot be maintained for those persons who are not fully vaccinated and interact with non-household members, then they need to wear face coverings. Also, if you're in outdoor settings that are crowded and densely populated, you also need to wear your face coverings because we have no way of knowing who's vaccinated and who's not. So that's what's new as it relates to the executive order.
So
Okay,
can
any
I
questions?
just add?
Yes.
So basically, our current practice outside has been that if students are within 6 feet, we want them to wear their face coverings. So basically, our practice will stay the same. The executive order, does allow that you can completely remove face coverings outside. However, DHHS still recommends wearing it when you are not 6 feet and wearing it in dense populations, which is why we've decided to maintain our course and make sure that we continue to wear them outside if we are within 6 feet. Okay, just so, do you have a question, Ms. Gill? Okay.
So we're staying the course.
We're staying the course.
I like that.
Yeah, so if they're not doing PE, do they wear these things doing PE? Outside?
No, ma'am, they do not have to wear them outside.
Okay. Because I know when it's hot, I tell you, one day the other week it was hot.
Yeah.
And I went to Fayetteville. When you get in that heat, you can hardly breathe.
Right.
I was trying to get in the store. Where's the air conditioner? But it's just difficult when it's hot.
It is.
So that's the reason I was just saying, what do they do when they're
Yes, ma'am. And we're encouraging them, to practice whatever activities they're implementing to social distance, 6 feet or more. If they're engaged in active play. So, that is a strategy that we will continue to share. But so far, things have worked very well.
Which is also one of the reasons with the dense population. So at our graduation ceremonies, we will be asking the guests to wear face masks because we'll be outside, but we will be in a dense crowd. So we want to encourage them to wear them during those ceremonies.
Are we gonna have signs made?
It'll be on the tickets.
Yes.
We've listed it on all the tickets.
Since you mentioned graduation. Sandy is graduating at 1 o'clock. That's the hottest part of the day. I mean, what would the weather be like at 1 o'clock?
Yeah, I think they might get lucky because it's not supposed to be quite as hot this Friday. They do have a little bit of a cooler spell. I think we're more worried about the rain possibly for Friday, but it's not supposed to be really, really warm Friday afternoon, not this week. Yeah, not like it was the other Friday, we would have been in trouble. Yeah.
This is your warmest day.
Okay. Yes, that's what's going to today.
This is your warmest day.
This is our warmest day. Okay.
So this week.
Well, that's a good thing. That's good.
Thanks.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Updated on that.
I think we're doing really good.
Yeah, I mean, it's a daily monitoring. Our teachers really work hard to monitor in the buildings and make sure people are separated. And when you're dealing with kids and adults who want to naturally socialize, that's the work, is really just monitoring that.
And I'm glad it's being enforced too.
We've had some questions, so we wanted to make sure we shared it with you, and we'll just kind of post a little blurb on the website tomorrow, basically letting people know we're kind of maintaining our protocols that we have in place. So information item B addresses our child nutrition grants. Ms. Deborah Carpenter is very excited about these grants. I'm our Executive Director of Child Nutrition, so I'm gonna ask her to share that grant information with everyone.
I'll take the mask off, I normally do not. Madam Chair, my former student, board members, my other former student, Dr. Dallas, and all that are assembled this evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
I am excited to present to you the Polk County Schools Child Nutrition Equipment Grant.
Okay.
All of you received a letter that Dr. Lynn Harvey, who is our Chief Director at the State of North Carolina Department of Public Instructions, informing me that Polk County Schools received $95,841 for equipment for our cafeterias. This grant, I did write the grant for us, for the school system. And one of the reasons why I chose this equipment is because of COVID. During COVID, as you all know, we had to prepare meals totally, cool them down totally, and then pack them and send them out. And we have 3 schools in the district that have blast chillers. That's Don Steed, Sandy Grove Middle, and Hawkeye Elementary, and none of my other schools have them. So I decided this year, rather than writing a grant for some other pieces of equipment that we do need, I would write the grant for blast chillers. And what a blast chiller is that once you cook the food, you can put it into it and it chills it quickly, keeps it safe, and keeps it within the proper temperature that the time that the health department allows us to cool it down. Manually, we have to cool down food over ice. But if you have a blast chiller, you can just take it from the cooking state straight into the blast chiller and it keeps it safe. So that's why I wrote the grant for the blast chillers. I did write it for 4 schools, but we only received 3, and that's okay. We're excited to receive the 3. And so it was a blessing that we can receive the blast chillers. We have already ordered them, so they should be here very soon to be installed.
Ms. Carpenter, what was the other school?
Excuse me.
I'm sorry. The other school that you wrote for and didn't receive it.
Okay, when you write the grant, they base it a lot on the free and reduced percentage. They base it on the number of students that participate in the child nutrition program, the participation percentage. I have to provide all of that information based on the student enrollment and the participation. So I have to provide that information, and of course, the free and reduced, the economic eligibility. The other school was Rockfish Hope. That is our highest free and reduced school. Their participation was very good, but because, you know, they have a very low free and reduced. So that's the reason why they were not. But we needed it there because that school, because of we're totally CEP, that participation in that school has increased tremendously. So we needed it there, so I will purchase it in addition. So we have ordered 4 rather than 3.
Oh, okay.
And I hope one day I'll be able to purchase it for the other schools. And the reason why, someone did ask me about the high school. The high school is a little bit different. They have more time to do their preparation. It's not as fast paced as my middle K-5 schools and middle school. They're a little bit different. Their food is different. They have more of a variety. They do more sandwiches. Their choices are different. So that's why I didn't choose the high school. Any other questions? That was a very good question, Councilman Pray. Thank you for asking.
Thank you, Deborah, for your
Thank you all
work
very much.
in writing that
Thank you.
grant. We appreciate that. Yes.
Thank you for writing that grant.
Yes, exactly. Thank you for your time. So information item C addresses our class size information for the upcoming school year. Let me ask Dr. Chad Hunt, our Executive Director of Testing and Accountability, to share this information with the board, please.
Good evening, Madam Chair and board members. The information that was given to you through Assembly just kind of outlines House Bill 13 and the, I guess you could call it an amendment on the second page, which was House Bill 90. The class size began back in 2017-18. It's pulled twice a year. The first time it's pulled at the end of the second month at the beginning of the school year. So typically the data comes from around the October timeframe. And then it's pulled again in February, which is in the spring. Over on the last page, just gave you a breakdown beginning in 2017-18, what the mandated class sizes were. So in 17-18, it began with no more than 23 students in an individual class for one individual teacher. And then the LEA average, so all the schools combined within the district could not exceed an average of 20. That took place for 2 years. Then beginning in 1920, it kind of started going down a little bit. The individual class size was one teacher per 22 students in an individual class in 2019-20. The overall average would be an average size of, we could not exceed 19. In 2021, which is this school year, it was one teacher per maximum of 21 students per class with an overall average of 18 students at the LEA level. And then next year is in full implementation, and you can see that each individual class kind of varies beginning in kindergarten through third grade. So kindergarten is one teacher per 21 students with the maximum average class size at district level of 18, one per 19 students for first grade with an overall average of 16 at the district level. In second grade, it becomes 1 to 20, and in third grade also 1 to 20 with 17 as the class size for the LEA. Up underneath that chart at the very bottom, you can see that I pulled the data for our fall semester and spring semester of this current year, so data from October and February. And this is just K3 in order, but yeah, we were underneath the average class size requirements of 18 average, and you can see that we were basically well below that throughout the entire school. Any questions about class size? Yes, ma'am.
Where does the TAs play in this?
You know, they're not averaged into, that's based on a teacher per student ratio.
So it's good that we have them there then.
Well, I mean, it definitely adds extra support for sure, but we can't, if even though it's a second adult in the classroom,
Right.
it doesn't play in the, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Thank you, Jim.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. And part of why we wanted to kind of share this is it's a little bit of a change, it's full implementation. But at the same time, this is the time of year that we do a lot of student reassignments. Parents are filling out forms, kind of saying, I want to go from this school to this school, or instead of going to my home school, I want to go to this school. And so when we work on our teacher allocations, we really work tightly on what we project to be at that school using those ratios. So a lot of times you might have parents asking, why can't I just go, to that school, or why can't I just go to this school? And a lot of it really ties into now our class size mandates. We really watch our numbers to make sure that we don't put extra kindergartners at a certain school, and that would take us out of compliance and have to add another teacher or a classroom. So these numbers we really watch with all of our principals at the elementary schools. We watch and follow how many students we have at each school and each grade level based on our teacher allocations to make sure that we stay in good standing, because next year they pull every year, correct? I mean, every month.
Yes,
Yeah.
beginning next year, DPI will begin we will begin running reports in Power School and submitting it on a monthly basis.
In reference to how many students?
They'll make sure that we're in compliance in every classroom and across the district, every month.
We were pretty low here, so.
Yeah, we're in good shape.
Yeah.
I guess a couple of things to keep in mind with that, whenever we're going back and kind of looking at where we've been with enrollment for at least the past 3 years. This particular year, 2020-21, we were lower than traditionally, but due to COVID and from the displaced students.
So this is not gonna look like this next year. What are we gonna
Most likely won't. So what we've done is we've taken our projected enrollment at each school. So some of our numbers, we went back to 1920 because those were higher numbers, and we feel like eventually we're gonna get back to having the higher ADM that we've had in the past. So when we calculate our teacher allocations, we've used those older numbers, and we basically say at each school, you have this many kids divided by 16 students, we're allocated 5.6 teachers, we give you 6 teachers.
Okay.
So that's kind of how we do it by school based on the enrollment that we have there.
What about 6 rooms? I mean.
Well, that's where you get, if you add a teacher, you gotta add a classroom, you have to add a space.
Oh, well, we're not talking about closet space.
That's right.
And just to reiterate what Dr. Dallas is saying, it's good that we use the 2019-20
Yeah.
numbers. This time last year, we were at 8,738 students, and we're currently at 8,302 students. So we've had about a 5% decrease.
Yeah, that's going back up.
Any other questions?
Why do we have
That decrease, where did they go?
charter school?
Did they go to private school?
We've
I
had
mean,
some for charter schools, some for private schools. We've had some that's doing homeschooling this year. We haven't
Okay.
done that before in the past. And then relocating of families as well.
Charter school.
It is 5% when you think about it, but that's over 400 students.
that's true. Now, the charter schools that cross the line and feel,
Alpha
Alpha
Academy.
Academy.
that school is growing.
Oh,
Yes, it is.
Dave, do you know how
Every
many
week it's
students?
growing, I mean, every year.
I think the last time invoice we got, they had about 280 some kids of ours.
Yeah.
And that number does continue to grow.
Mhm. I can see the building.
Oh, yes, 2 stories now. All right, thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you, Dr. Hunt, I appreciate
Thank you,
that.
Dr. Hines.
Information item G is our mental health plan draft. Next month, we will be asking for your approval on our mental health improvement plan as part of a General Assembly requirement. So at this time, I'll ask Dr. Peggy Owens, our Executive Director of Student Support Services, to share that draft.
Okay, so you have before you, we're going to just give you an overview. This is our school mental health policy. The school mental health policy was passed in 2019, the first one, and we're currently working under that policy. It is a 3-year plan. And so the General Assembly updated and passed another plan 2020, December, it was approved December 2020. So there were some additional features that was added. So the plan overall, this mental health plan consists of, number 1, universal prevention through core instruction, curriculum, and environment. That's one component. The second component is early intervention for mental health and social emotional health and wellness. And the third component refers to referrals, treatment, and reentry. So the additional components for this current plan will include a memorandum of agreement, and that will be with our local mental health agency. We will have that agreement with Daymar. Also, the additional is suicide risk referral protocol, that we must have that in place, and that's something that we do currently have in place and have had that in place for probably the past 3 years now. We have to look at the liability issue. Also, we have to report. This particular document now will be reported with our Healthy Active Children policy. So we'll have to report annually in terms of its impact. And of course, as you will see in the document, we do have to have timelines that's reflected in terms of implementing the plan. Next slide, Dr. Richard. So within our plan, you will find that we're going to focus on 7 domains. First, we're going to look at our mental health screenings. We will also conduct a needs assessment and do resource mapping. And these are things that we already have done and we're actively engaged in. Mental health promotion as it relates to Tier 1, being our basic information teaming, looking at collaboration with our internal and external partners, early intervention and treatment as it relates to Tier 1 and Tier 3 services, and then funding and sustainability of the plan. And then again, we have to look at the impact of the plan. The next slide. So what you have available to you on the link, and I do believe, I think Ms. Carroll has also made a copy for you in the PDF format for you to have an opportunity to review the plan prior to us presenting it to you next month. So you will have an opportunity to review the document. It is in draft, and so we will be making some revisions. But you have, currently what you have is the bulk of the plan itself for your review. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. You may call me or, send me an email, your preference. So Dr. Dallas, that's an overview of board members in terms of our mental health plan. So,
Thank you.
Any questions
any
on that?
questions at this point?
So when we come back together in June, we will do ask for approval of the final plan.
And as you know, we do have 2 mental health coordinators for the district. We have a lead coordinator in the person of Ms. Danielle Locklear, and then our other coordinator is Ms. Stephanie Comfort. And so they are the 2 mental health coordinators that service the schools in our district. And so those persons will be with me next month, pending your approval of the plan.
Well, I guess we've been in COVID, so is that enough, those 2 mental health, the lead and the other person, is that enough?
No, ma'am. That's the reason we have that portion of the funding, but we are pleased to say that through PRC 969, that we will be adding a mental health specialist. That specialist will work with our middle school population, specifically focusing on Tier 2 students. So those are students who need some additional intervention. And so hopefully by the fall, we will have that person on board. We are also going to, through that particular funding source, we'll bring on another school social worker for Polk County High School. And then we will bring on 2 additional nurses out of that funding source. And we have also, there are provisions in the ESSA funds, and I'm sure you'll hear about that a little bit later, not today, I don't know if Dr. Dallas, but we've been planning for that will also give us some additional mental health support. As you know, with school social workers, those individuals are trained, in basic as well as mental health services as well. So in addition to our school counselors, so that is a discussion that we've made planning for additional specialized instructional personnel to support our students and staff as well.
So this works for the staff also?
Yes, ma'am. Our mental health coordinators have assisted our staff as well. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay.
Any additional
A
questions?
great need. I mean, this, coming off of this year especially,
Yeah.
the data shows and just dealing
Yeah,
with
we
people, and it's becoming a greater need every year.
Oh, wow.
So when you read the plan, you'll see, like I said, if you have any questions, we are also looking at, implementing social emotional learning curriculum across our district as well. We do have some components already, but we're looking at to do provide a more comprehensive, if you will, menu across the board to provide supports and services.
Yeah.
Any additional questions?
Will the social worker be working with St. Hills Mental Health, which is that MCO for this county? And when I say that, like linking the children with resources from mental health, because Daymar is up under the MCO, so.
Yes, they will. We currently work with them. We're also part of the regional planning team on the region. So the question to you, yes, and we do currently. And so, as you know, as a social worker, there's so much intel. One of the things that oftentimes when we talk about school social worker, we look at those persons, which is one of their primary responsibility to address those barriers to learning. And one of those, we look at attendance, but that's only one of their area of responsibility. And as you very well know, we have homeless students who are experiencing homelessness that our social workers work with. They're also with foster care students that they work with as well. And so all of our students and special populations, they have unique needs. And so mental health has been very challenging for us, over this past year, especially, with the pandemic. And so our students, if you will, they have need as well as their families. And so our goal is to serve all of the stakeholders, Ms. Gill, in terms of cooperating. And by us serving on the regional team, that committee, we have been able to harness quite a few resources to help our families, those things that's not here in Polk County, as you well know, that we reach out to our surrounding counties in order to meet the needs of our families.
So Dr. Owens, the social workers now, are they able to refer to counseling services and
Oh, yes, ma'am.
services?
Yes, we currently do that. Yes, ma'am, we do. Yes. Any additional questions?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
you.
Thank you, Dr. Owens. Our last information item is our monthly financial report. If you have any questions, we will direct those to Ms. Lene Davis, our Chief Finance Officer. Do we have any questions? Okay.
Barbara?
Everybody looks at Barbara. I saw you looking, I was looking.
So if not, Madam Chair and members, that does conclude our informational items for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Debbie. I will entertain a motion to go into closed session.
Madam Chair, I move that we go into closed sessions for the reasons stated under the statute.
If we can, if we can have a motion to go into closed session, under, for, confidential, personnel matters, to consider, new employment and to consult with the board attorney.
Madam Chair, I move that we go into closed sessions for the reasons stated by the attorney.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to go into closed sessions for the reasons stated by the attorney. All in favor? All opposed, ayes have it. If we can take a 7-minute break.
Yeah.